Okay, Diane. So today what we're going to be working on is what's called a think aloud. So while we read today, we are going to be thinking aloud about what the text is saying to us. I'm going to show you what I mean by that first, and then you're going to try. So there's a couple of ways that readers can think aloud. And I have a little chart here to help us remember. So the first way that we're going to focus on today deals with visualizing or creating mental images in your mind. So when you read something and it really appeals to your emotions and you can really picture the character or smell something or hear something, that deals with mental images. The second way is to make connections when we read. And this is something that you actually did the other day. You probably didn't even realize that you were doing it, but you stopped reading and you wanted to tell me something about your connection with the mom. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay. The next way deals with making predictions. So that's something else we're going to be doing today. And then finally, this last one deals with stating confusion. And I know that might sound a little bit weird, but strong readers, they actually realize when they get confused and they stop, they reread, and they do things to try to figure it out. Does that ever happen to you? Sometimes? It happens to me too. Okay, so we're going to put that aside right now. Can you tell us a little bit about where we left off in the book? Do you remember?
Catherine drew a picture of Jason and gave it to him, and she was too embarrassed, so she gave it to Mrs. Morehouse. So that's Jason's mom.
Okay. Was she drawing the picture of, was the picture she gave the picture of Jason, or was it another picture?
It was another picture.
Okay, but why did she want to give the picture to Jason? Because you're onto something.
Why did she?
Why did she want to give the picture to Jason?
She wanted to be nice.
She wanted to be nice. Why did she want to be nice? Do you remember what had just happened before that?
Jason's mom, caught her drawing a picture of Jason.
Caught her drawing the picture of Jason. And Catherine felt really embarrassed and got upset about it. And she felt really bad. Because what's different about Jason?
Like if something spills on him, then he doesn't bother it. But if something spills on David, then he just go off.
Okay, so now you're talking about David, the brother. But Jason, what's different about him? Why is he at the doctor's?
Well, he doesn't have autism. He has like
Okay, so he's in a wheelchair, and what does he have to do to communicate?
He has like this photograph book, like and he points to the words and see if he's like mad, happy.
Excellent. He has to point to the words to communicate. Very good. Okay, so I just wanted to go over where we left off. Now we're going to start the book. I'm going to be thinking aloud as I read, so I'm going to be stopping periodically. And then I'm going to be telling you what I'm thinking about. Then I'm going to have, you're going to see in your text, there's places that I marked where I want you to stop, and you're going to be stopping to think aloud as well. So we're going to start this with you reading orally, and then toward the end you're going to read silently, okay? Because I know the chapter's kind of long. Sound good? Okay, so before I even start with this chapter, let's read the title. It says, if it's too loud, cover your ears or ask the other person to be quiet. So we know that another rule's been introduced. But even before that, I want to make a prediction because like you just told me some really good information about Jason and the interaction with the picture, and she wanted to give the picture to Jason. And I just have this feeling, since Catherine goes to the doctors a lot with her brother and her mom, maybe this Jason character might be kind of important. It kind of seems to me like they might become friends. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. You think, maybe? Do you think they'll meet again? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I just made a prediction, so let's start. On the ride home from the clinic, the rain comes. David holds his hands over his ears, blocking the tiny squeaks of the windshield wipers against the glass. All right, and already I'm going to stop because I'm picturing something in my mind. It's a rainy day. David's holding his ears, covering his ears. Why would a person do that?
Because it would hit a rain.
Okay? And there's tiny squeaks coming from the windshield wipers against the glass. So I'm picturing all this in my mind. Okay? David hears everything extra loud, Stephanie says. Milk being poured, shopping carts clanging at the grocery store, my pet guinea pig squealing, the school bus braking as it pulls up to the corner, and the whoosh of the bus door opening. All those things and a million more make David cover his ears, fast as lightning. Here I'm stopping again because I'm making a connection here. The sound that really bothers me more than anything is nails on a chalkboard, and that's what this reminded me of. Is there any sound or anything that bothers you like that?
Like when somebody pops their gum.
When somebody pops their gum? Okay, good one. Good one. I'm just laughing because you often have gum in your mouth. Maybe. Okay, let's continue. The last day of school should have been a happy day, but I can't think of it without seeing David at the bus stop, clutching his umbrella, his head tipped way over to his shoulder to cover one ear, his hand covering the other. Ryan DeShane said he'd steal David's umbrella if he let go of it, and David believed him. Okay, and I'm stopping here because Ryan DeShane isn't I don't think he's anybody that we've read about so far, is he? Okay, so I'm kind of admitting here I'm a little bit confused maybe. I'm gonna look back. I'm gonna reread this part, I think. Okay? So the last day of school should have been a happy day, but I can't think of it without seeing David at the bus stop, clutching his umbrella, his head tipped way over to his shoulder to cover one ear, and I'm actually visualizing here too. Can you picture him with his shoulder to one ear? Have you ever seen anybody do that? Why would they do that?
Like, I don't know, they're like annoyed and they don't want to hear that person next to them.
Okay, good. So he's clutching his umbrella, his head tipped way over to his shoulder to cover one ear, his hand covering the other. So like this. And then you have this kid, Ryan DeShane, and I don't think we've seen him before. We'll have to look out for that character. Said he'd steal David's umbrella if he let go of it, and David believed him. I told him Ryan was joking, but that made it worse because David laughed and laughed in that twisted position. Remember, he's still standing like this. And Ryan mimicked David, tipping his own head way over, laughing. So I want us to stop and think aloud. Can you picture David right now?
Mm-hmm.
How is he feeling?
Like just laughing in like twisted position.
Okay. And do you think he knows that Ryan is mimicking him or sort of making fun of him? Why not?
Because he's not paying in front of anybody. He's just like that.
Okay. Okay. Why is... I almost want to... I want to just go back for a minute. It's supposed to be a happy day, right? Why isn't it a happy day for Catherine? How's her relationship with her brother? You don't think? Well, why does she make the rules for him?
So he can like go do better. And like he'll follow him when he like knows if he's done things wrong and he like just think of the rules and he was like, oh.
So she's kind of trying to help him, right? And she's witnessing David be made fun of by this kid, right? So how's she feeling? Yeah. It says David laughed and laughed in that twisted position, and Ryan mimicked David, tipping his own head way over, laughing. So what does Ryan start to do? Are you picturing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's Ryan doing?
Mimicking David,
By doing what?
tipping his head over and laughing.
Tipping his head over, covering his ear, maybe laughing. Okay, very good. I want you to read the next part on your own. No aloud. Yes, and remember, I just want to remind you of this one more time. You're going to be stopping, and for the first couple, I'm going to ask you, can you visualize? Can you connect? And then as we continue, I want you to stop, and you're just going to think, is there one of these that applies? Can you make a prediction? Are you confused? And we're actually going to keep a chart of this. So we're going to keep track of this. So, when we finish, we can see, how many times we actually stop to think aloud as we read. Because thinking aloud really helps us remember what we read. Okay? All right. So can you read the next section for me?
I got in trouble with the bus driver because she caught me shoving Ryan. He had to sit in the front seat so she can keep an eye on it, she said. On the ride to school, I added another row to David's list. Sometimes people laugh when they like you, but sometimes they laugh to hurt you.
Perfect. Can you make a connection here at all with that rule or anything you read?
Mm-hmm.
You can? Can you explain your connection?
Like, some people, like, even in my class, some people, like, I do it to them, like, I laugh at them, not to hurt them, but, like, I don't know, to, like, get their attention and stuff.
Okay, so your connection sort of applies with the first part. Sometimes people laugh when they like you. You're kind of trying to get their attention, trying to just be goofy. Okay, what about the second part? Have you ever seen anybody laugh to hurt somebody?
Yes.
You have? How does that make you feel?
Like sometimes when somebody talks about one of my friends, I push them aside and just stop talking about it because you're going to get in trouble. You're going to go to somebody like the principal and you're going to get in trouble.
Okay, good. All right, so we've already made one connection, right, with a personal experience. Actually, we'll count it as one, but you kind of made two. Good job. Okay, let's continue.
I hope David can learn that rule by September when we have to go back to the bus stop. Maybe the family next door will be moving in when we get home. I watch a heron hunting fish in the low water area under the bridge. His feathers are dark, slick with rain. The mover said 5, but maybe they were wrong. Maybe Mom says, but our new neighbors might have a long drive, and there's always last minute things to do when we move. I tried to hold my hope down, but it keeps popping up again until Mom turns the corner to our street, and I see Ryan DeShane getting on his bike, an orange newspaper bag slung on his shoulder, his curly black hair looking frizzy from him.
Perfect. So are you able to make a connection or visualize in any way here?
Like it's raining, he's outside with his bike, and he has a bushy afro.
Okay. A bushy afro. Why? What made you say that about his hair?
Well, because it's looking frizzy, like it's frizzy.
Looking frizzy from the rain. I can definitely relate to that. Okay, so you visualized again. Beautiful. I also want to read that part about the hope up and down. I try to hold my hope down, but it keeps popping up again. Does that remind you of anything? Trying to hold something down, but it keeps popping up again?
Yes. Like, say if you wanted something and you can't leave it in, you just gotta say it and say it again.
Okay. So when you have something you want to get off your chest really bad? Okay, good. So another connection was made. I was almost thinking of a Jack in the Box. Do you know what I mean by that? Showing my age. Okay, I try to hold my hope down, but it keeps popping up again. Okay? Okay, continue out loud.
I let the loose one hope skyward. I hope he gets soaked. David waves out the car window. Hi, Ryan. Don't say hi to him, I tell David. He's not your friend. Catherine, Mom snaps, the reflection from her glasses flashing in the rear view mirror. Don't stop, David, from talking to people. Not after all the work we've done on initiating conversation. Part of me wants to tell her about Ryan, but she'll call his mother or the bus office and make it worse for David next year. Mom doesn't understand how not everyone is on David's side.
Perfect. May I ask you to stop again? Do you want to think aloud for me there? Is there a place where you can visualize or make a connection or even state confusion if you're having some?
Catherine, she probably doesn't like Ryan.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't like Ryan. And she says, don't say hi to him. I tell David, he's not your friend. And then Catherine's mom snaps. Why?
Because she's like saying that's not nice to say that.
Right. But does mom know what happened with Ryan earlier? Right. So, but mom's upset. She says, don't stop David from talking to people, not after all the work we've done on initiating conversation. What do you think that means? All the work we've done with David.
Talking about him.
What does it mean to initiate conversation?
To have a one-on-one conversation.
Okay, but if you're the one initiating, what does that mean? If you initiate a conversation with me,
You're talking about a person or something.
or if you initiate a conversation with Jada, you're initiating. What does that mean? You're the one that goes up to her and initiates. Talks to her first, exactly. So mom says, not after all the work we've done on initiating conversation. Because David has trouble doing what? Yeah, and initiating, being the first one. Okay, but mom doesn't understand the whole story. Part of me wants to tell her about Ryan, but she'll call his mother at the bus office and make it worse for David next year. Mom doesn't understand how not everyone is on David's side. So do you want to try to, can you connect it all with, is that the bell already? All right, we'll stop it for now. Good job, we're going to finish later, okay?